evening, everyone. My name is Stella Joe. This is Naomi Reichstein, along with Jacqueline Hunter and Tiffany Craig. We're the Chinatown Lane team, and we would like to first thank our community partner, the Chinatown Transformation team from the City of Vancouver, and also Chinatown community members for being here today. Our project, Life in Chinatown Lane, aims to explore hidden opportunities with temporary lane activations that could support local communities. Currently, the City of Vancouver is exploring the feasibility for applying the UNESCO World Heritage Site designation for Chinatown. One aspect of this is to revitalize lanes through activation, and our project will support a potential UNESCO application. Historically, Chinatown lanes were vibrantly filled with more commercial activities and social activities than today. This includes restaurant takeout windows, late night activities, and also various markets. Our project has a focus on heritage, which can be either tangible or intangible. Tangible heritage is anything that you can touch, which includes things like architecture, streets, lanes, and other built forms or physical aspects. Intangible heritage includes traditional practices, food culture, arts, and sound. Many things embody both tangible and intangible heritage, like the two poles shown above here. On the left, we have the Tangwenchun Society Building, and on the right, we have the traditional Chinese barbecue. What is activation? An activation is any activity or infrastructure that enriches a space, making it more alive and welcoming. Activation can be physical, such as art installations or community amenities, or they could be events, such as street theater, music, food, athletic or health events. In doing this project, we aim to find a holistic way of assessing the viability of specific lanes for activation. Initially, we conducted a site analysis focusing on the physical characteristic of 8 different Chinatown lanes. We then consulted many local community groups and knowledge holders that are familiar with Vancouver's Chinatown. With all the community feedback in mind, we then considered how these lanes would fit into a larger social ecosystem that would connect into a lane network.
Chinatown is a community of diverse communities with different lived experiences. No one group represents the whole of Chinatown. For this reason, it was very important to us in our community consultation to find a way of representing the diversity of Chinatown. In total, we conducted 21 interviews with a mix of nonprofits, local business owners, community advocates, and city staff. In these interviews, people told us what values they held for Chinatown and which values they wanted to see reflected in laneway activations. An activation should be inclusive and avoid unintended consequences that could have the effect of excluding or displacing anyone. Activation should keep it local. This includes local stewardship, local content, and local sourcing and hiring. It's good for activations to celebrate the Chinatown food culture. That's an important value. Intergenerational connections are also very important. So activations that bring together Chinese seniors with youth and bringing youth back into the neighborhood. Finally, intercultural connections were emphasized in the interviews. So celebrating connections between Chinatown and other communities within Vancouver. Here's a map that shows the streets and lanes that fall within the boundaries by which the City of Vancouver's Planning Department currently defines Chinatown. And you can see that we've highlighted in turquoise 4 laneway areas that we've highlighted as having particular potential for activation. At first, when we started this project, we approached it with the preconception that we wanted to identify candidate lanes and figure out which ones were most viable for activation. But as we went through our community consultation, it helped us to discover that each lane area really has its own challenges, pointing to quite different sort of areas of potential for activation. So, for example, some laneways have more of a heritage architectural character, and that is a value that we could celebrate in those lanes. Other lanes offer more room and light, offering the potential for larger scale activations, and still others are more connected to transit or to other public spaces. So all of these are different assets available in different places. And from these realizations, we developed the idea that the laneway network could be seen as an ecology, with each laneway area having complementary functions, forming an entire laneway ecosystem considered together as a whole. So from this process, we developed a series of recommendations. One major finding is that we suggest simplifying the various permitting processes in order to support more grassroots stewardship of activations on a small scale. Another major finding is that there appears to be a gap in community capacity. So, for example, a lot of organizations like the idea of laneway activations in principle, but they lack the funding, time, or capacity to lead activations themselves. For this reason, we recommend increased support for partnerships to enable community stewards to take on activations. This support could take the form of funding or human capital to increase